This is day 29 after my total knee replacement. I was kind of hoping not to talk about pain anymore, but somehow or another, I still have ideas that I haven't expressed or things that have been percolating up to the top since the last one. It occurred to me that I heard a long time ago that some animals can die from pain. I've heard that horses, if they experience too much pain, they will go into shock and die. And I don't know if there are other animals that could die from pain. But I've also heard that there are times when animals will experience pain. We'll say that a deer is attacked by a wolf and manages to get away, and it will be able to completely ignore the wound that it received while it's running away. And then at some point it will the wound will be more noticeable, but the brain and the body of the wounded animal will increase chemicals or will turn off pain receptors so that the animal can escape. Otherwise, the extreme pain may cause them to quit running. So it's a survival mechanism to for the body to turn off pain or to immediately add pain deadening chemicals. My thought on that was that somehow or another it seemed like when a person goes through surgery, that it is certainly a blessing that they're not conscious of the pain that that their body is going through. But it seems like in some way that 2 or 3 days later, your body has no clue about the pain because it has been masked by medication. And so suddenly, at some point in the future, you start experiencing real pain, and your body has no clue where it came from because the trauma was days ago. And so it doesn't know what to do to fix the pain. And so because of the medication you're on, it does not, anyway, it's just a thought that I had that it is somehow or another there is inability to utilize the body's natural pain response by masking it. I'm not saying that's bad. I don't know that there is any other way to go with it, but I just thought that was kind of an odd concept. I don't know what time it is. I'm trying to make sure that I don't do more than 10 minutes on these videos. So I didn't want to spend a whole lot more time on that, but I thought it was a kind of an odd circular thought processes or something to that effect. I have mentioned before that psychological pain a lot of times can be the result of a person turning off grief, turning off sadness, turning off whatever. And some of that, I think, can be the result of parents doing things that parents have done forever, but in recent time, it would be considered bad behavior. So a child is crying about something, and the parent says, you need to stop crying or I'll give you something to cry about. That would be a parent forcing a child to not experience whatever suffering they are having. And it's certainly possible that the child is overreacting, the child is acting out. But what I'm saying is that there would be a better way than threats but one of the things that has always worked for infants and children is that most of the time parents, I have never been able to ignore babies or children crying without interacting with them in some way. It is just like trying to comfort them in some way, trying to figure out some way to make that crying stop. And I think it's possible that there are adults who cannot stand it. And so because of their own fear or whatever, they turn to anger. And their anger causes the child to ignore what they should actually be feeling. I mentioned in a different video about Carl Jung saying that neurosis is always a result of a failure to experience legitimate suffering. Neurosis is always the result of a failure to experience legitimate suffering. So if a child is sad or hurt and some parent says, some adult says, you need to stop that now, then it is a failure of that child to experience whatever legitimate suffering it has. I have seen and experienced a child laughing about something and a parent saying, what are you laughing at? And the child just locks up because they're worried about damage. It's damage control. You do what you can to avoid being hurt. Everybody who is teaching nowadays knows that, lots of times you can get much better results by rewarding psychologically. You don't have to give candy or anything, just by rewarding a child's behavior that is better and trying to ignore bad behavior, because some children are willing to accept nearly any kind of can't think of the word, any kind of acknowledgement from an adult. I'll think of the word in 20 minutes. So they prefer you. It is possible to change a child's behavior by acknowledging the good behavior and ignoring bad behavior, or only interacting when it's really bad, trying to ignore it. So it works the same way. Like, people have trained dogs in roughly 2 different ways for the last, maybe 20 years, maybe 40 years. But so lots of times what people do is they will hit a dog that does something that they don't like. And it doesn't matter whether it's peeing on the floor or chewing up something. And it has been known that it is a lot easier to get good results in the long run with a dog if you acknowledge the behavior that you like. The dog pees outside and you pet it and do whatever you want. That isn't to say that you don't, chew it out, but you don't beat it because it peed inside. You acknowledge the behavior that you like. And, dogs do not understand bad dog. What they understand is the sound of it, and they understand the repercussions. They understand a smile, and they understand a frown. And they know that the smile can bring petting, and the frown can bring something that they don't like, or, something to that effect. So that's enough for me for now. I don't know if I'll actually do this one or whether I'll try it again. Anyway, thanks for listening.